Hello, and thank you for watching our STEM Ambassador in Scotland Week 2023 Careers interview video. Today we're going to be hearing from Anne Okafor, who is a construction planner and also a STEM ambassador. Anne is going to be talking a bit about her study path and her career route, and then we'll have some questions that have been sent in by students. So without any further ado, I'll pass over to Anne.
Hi everyone, thank you for the introduction, Heather. As Heather said, I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about my career in construction, my career as a construction planner, and you'll have the chance to answer questions. I know we've had some questions sent in. So a little about me, as Heather said, my name is Anne Okafor and I'm a construction planner working for the Cruden Group based across the Central Belt in Scotland. I'm a student and a STEM ambassador and a mentor too. So why construction, first of all? Why would anyone think about going into a career in construction? Now, for me, it's down to three things. And the three things for me are the opportunity. There's lots and lots of opportunity in construction to do different types of work, to work with different types of people, to be on different types of projects, and to learn lots and lots of different things. You can even work across the globe, working in different countries, anywhere in the world. It's really exciting. So I mentioned the people as well. The people that I work with in construction are just the best. I meet people from all across the world. I meet people from all different walks of life, and it's really interesting. I meet lots and lots of people and have a very wide network of construction professionals all across the globe. This helps me to learn about construction in different parts of the world, different ways of doing things as well, and I find that really exciting. And the third thing for me is the legacy. And what I mean by that is we change the face of the earth. We literally make things that mean that our world is different when we leave the jobs that we do. You can see in the picture on this slide, this is the creation of the St. James Centre in Edinburgh. So some of you may have been past that or even shopped in it. I was able to go on some site visits to have a look at that being made, and it was really fascinating. So a little bit about my journey. So I started off in a hospitality background, working in pubs, working in restaurants, as you can see from some of my pictures from my days in the kitchen. And I took those skills, those transferable skills, and took them into my job in construction. It's really important to think about transferable skills because many of you may be doing or thinking about doing maybe some after school roles or maybe a Saturday job. And those skills that you learn in those jobs actually set you up for any job that you will do in the future. I took them and I took my skills and I went on to the construction industry after a long time in hospitality. I returned to construction as a mature student when I was 28 years old. So I had a break after school and then worked for a long time and then went back to university and college afterwards. And I'll tell you a little bit about that journey in the next coming slides. So this is what my career journey looked like. In 2004, which is a while ago now, I left school at age 16. I left to work in the hospitality and retail sector, as I explained. I worked in a lot of different roles between pubs, restaurants, hotels, shops, all these different types of roles. They were very similar and very people-focused roles, but that has done me really well in the construction industry. Construction industry is a very people-orientated industry. I'm dealing with lots and lots of different people and being able to have conversations with people at all different levels from all different backgrounds has been a really useful skill for me that I learned in my previous roles. As I said, I returned to education as a mature student. I went back to college age 26 to do an NC in built environment. Now this just was an access course, gave me an insight into the industry and allowed me to explore different job roles. At that time, I wasn't 100% sure about what I wanted to do in the construction industry, but I knew I wanted to do something more practical. I knew I wanted to do something possibly in site management or in architectural technology. And those were the two kind of bases that I was looking at. The NC built environment allowed me to explore those and to understand what the industry challenges are and how I can be part of that. From doing that year course, I understood that really what I wanted to do was the site management, the construction management element. So I went on to do the HNC construction management in my college, and that was for another year, which I did it full time. Alongside this, I actually worked as well. I got a work placement working on site at a project called the Engine Shed in Stirling, and you may have visited it or been there. It's a visitor centre for Historic Scotland, so you may have been there. I was involved in the development of that site, and it was a really great place to learn lots and to supplement the work that I was learning within my class at college. I then went on to do a honours degree at university. I entered in second year at the university, Glasgow Cali University is where I went to. And I started that in 2016 and graduated with a first class honours in 2019. I did my second year, my third year, and then my honours year at university. So by this time, I've done 5 years studying. I really enjoyed going to university. It was a great experience for me, and having not went after school, I really felt like it was the best way for me to enter the industry. There's lots of different ways that you can enter though. There's lots of different ways now that involve graduate apprenticeships. So it doesn't always have to be a university entrance, and it's good for you to explore. If you are thinking about a career in construction, have a look at all the different routes available, because some may suit you better than others. I liked university so much that I stayed on again after I did my honours and did a postgraduate degree in quality management. Now, this was a follow-on from my dissertation in my final year for my undergraduate. I wanted to learn more about quality management in construction, and certainly on the back of things like Grenfell that we've seen, we've understood now that quality in construction is very, very important. So I wanted to be part of that. And then what I also did, and I completed last year, was my charteredship, which is essentially equivalent to another degree in construction. And it just means that I'm now a chartered construction manager, which is essentially a qualification that says I'm competent to practice construction management. So that's a little bit about my construction journey. So my job to date, I'm a construction planner, and this is where I've studied all the way along, and I've also worked in placements and in the construction industry in different roles. Before doing a construction planner, I worked as an assistant site manager on site, so I did go down the site management route. But for me, that didn't really suit my personality and what I wanted to do, as I discovered. But I only discovered that really when I started doing the job. For me, construction planning allows me to be between the office and out on site. So I get to do the site things that I do enjoy, and I do enjoy being on site. But I do lots of voluntary work outside work, and a more structured work life allowed me to do that better, which means working from the office sometimes as well. So you can see from my pictures, you can see my desk, which is at my office based in Cambuslang in Glasgow. And sometimes I'm based there, probably about half of the time. And then the other half of the time, I'm out on sites monitoring up progress and understanding where our sites are. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that as we go forward. So these are some of the jobs that I've been involved with in different capacities. You can see the engine shed project, which I mentioned earlier, is the black triangle type structure. Being a construction planner means that I look at all these different types of jobs before we start them. I look at the drawings, I look at all the information that we get from our client. What building do they want? What type of building do they want? What type of finishes do they want? What type of kitchens do they want? And I put all of these tasks into a big document called the construction program. And this tells us how long each task will going to take. How long does it take to pour foundations? How long does it take to construct walls, to put the roof tiles on? How long does it take to do the inside of the building? And then I also put information into there. How many people do we need? How many people do we need to fit the roof? How many people do we need to put the kitchen? All of that information goes into the construction program, which then tells us how long we're going to take to do the program, what we need to do each week, how many people we need on site each week. And then I monitor this. So I go around in my other half of the time that I'm not writing the programs, the other half of the time I'm going around site looking to see Have we done what we said we were going to do this week? So if, for example, we have to build half of the walls this week, did we do that? Or have we only built 25% instead of 50%? Then I write that on the program, and it's a piece of software that helps us to understand whether we are behind, whether we are on time, or whether we're doing well. When we understand whether we are on time or behind, which is usually the case, we can then make decisions about whether we need to do things faster and how we do that. Do we need more people to help us? Do we need to change when we're going to get things delivered on site? All of these things help us make decisions about the business and how we operate so that we can then make sure that we deliver our project for our clients on time, because we have to, we're contracted to do that. We also want to do that. It's good practice to make sure that we are delivering in the timescales that we said we will. So like I said, some of these projects I've worked on lots and lots of different types of projects doing the same function. So I'm doing the construction planning role on all these different types of projects. So you can see I've done the visitor centre, like I mentioned, I've done housing, we've done internal fit outs, kitchen upgrades, we've done big flat projects like you can see with the green crane. With the image with the white crane is a B&M store, so it's a big steel frame building. The utility pitch, the games pitch that you can see, which is called a Muga, which is a multi-utility gaming area, which is something you may have at the school that you're at. It's like a basketball court, an outside facility. So we do all these different types of things. And in the image with the yellow crane, what you can see is off-site construction. This is where we bring big kitted, it's like a big jigsaw, but the black box that you can see being lifted down by the crane is actually half of a flat unit, and it's been made in a factory. So rather than making it out on site like you can see us doing in the image with the green crane, in the yellow crane we've made that in a factory and then put it on a lorry and then brought it to site and lifted it into place. So all of these different things are types of things that I might think about when I'm making my program. Do we want to build it on site? Do we want to build it in the factory and bring it to site? Lots and lots of different questions that I need to answer when I'm making my program. And as I said, I've been doing work placements along the way, in summer placements and working as well. So these are some of the job roles that I've done, because I have done little different job roles along the way. I started as a work placement and summer placement on site, as I mentioned, when I was doing my HNC year. Started doing construction administration and site support, and then worked into being a trainee site manager. So it's helping the project manager with his day-to-day roles. Then I did what is called my industrial placement. So when you're in university, you can sometimes have what's called an industrial placement or a sandwich year, where you go and do some work experience to supplement what you're actually learning in university. And for this, I worked as an assistant design coordinator. And what this means is I was helping with all the different drawings and the computer system that helped us to manage that process of design information. After that industrial placement year had finished, I went back to site management and worked as an assistant site manager with a construction company in Glasgow, and I worked on a site that delivered 171 houses. When I graduated, I had the opportunity to train as a planner, assistant planner, and like I said, that suited my personality better. It was a good time for me because I had just graduated as well, so I had my qualification. I had some really good experience of being on site. I understood what it took to build a house. I'd just delivered 171 houses. And now I was coming to the start of the process and trying to write all that into the big to-do list of the construction programme so that other site managers could then follow that process. And some of the subjects and skills that I've used, so the subjects from school that I use, even today, I'm using my math skills, my English skills, science skills, technical skills, and IT and communication skills. I use a lot of my job is on the computer. We're doing meetings online. We are using computer software to deliver the construction programs, to manage them. And we're also using systems to store all our information online. A lot of the skills that I need to use are attention to detail. I have lots and lots of information to bring all together, so it's important that I don't miss details. If I miss details, it can be a problem for the program. Like say if I miss a detail that we're going to build in the factory and I say we're going to build on site, then there's lots and lots of time differences that can cause us a problem. I need to think about logic skills, so the order of things, the sequence that we do things in. So for example, we can't put a roof on until we have walls in, and it's important that I know the order of things that are going to happen. I have to understand graphs and data because a lot of the information that I'm given is in graphs and data. But also I have to present a lot of the information to my managers in graphs and data so they can understand it really quickly and easily without having to dig through big reports. A lot of this is communication skills, so communication in written form or in graphs and data, but also in talking, in listening, in understanding. We're having meetings with clients, with different stakeholders. So it could be clients, it could be community groups, it could be my bosses, it could also be people on the construction project that I need to work with. So lots and lots of communication. And then obviously lots and lots of organising and planning as well to bring all of the information, all the conversations into one big document. So lots and lots of organising involved. And some of the opportunities for the future in the construction industry that you might think about if you're going into a career as a construction planner or any other career in the construction industry. Like I said before, there's different routes to go. So you might consider a university like I did, or college. You may consider a trade apprenticeship or a graduate apprenticeship. There's lots and lots of different opportunities in those ways for either trades or technical job roles. And there's also non-construction entries as well. We have lots and lots of support systems in the construction industry. We have people who are working in business development. We have people working in accounting. We have people working in lots and lots of different roles that support the construction. They may not be building the construction site or be part of that every day, but we do need lots and lots of support systems, IT, technical people to support us in the job that we do. So some of those things may be interesting to you. We're also using technologies like data science, computer gaming technology, robotics. Like I said, we're making things in factories, and a lot of that comes down to really, really clever robotic and computer gaming technologies that we're using to build the things that we need to build. We're also using artificial intelligence and virtual reality technologies as well. And again, you may be familiar with some of those out with the construction industry. We use them for lots and lots of different things in society today, but we are now making use of them to make our construction industry much more efficient. And just to finish, I've got some tips here about how, for any students and graduates looking to get on, not just in the construction industry really, but just general tips. So be yourself. No one does it better. If you're going for a job interview or an interview for even university or college or for an apprenticeship, employers want to speak to you. They want to know what you like and what you want to do for your job. It's important when you're doing things to show up, to work hard and be polite. These are things you'll be doing at school as well. One really important thing for getting on in the construction industry is to network. Build your network if you can. Get your presence online sorted. LinkedIn is a really good place to start. And as you're starting, even at college, getting yourself on LinkedIn and getting your social media footprint checked, making sure that what you've got online is appropriate for employers. Lots of employers will look at those things when they want to consider you for a job. And also to have a plan that be open to opportunities. So you may have, like me, I had a plan, I wanted to be in the construction industry, but I was open to that opportunity of going into being a construction planner as it came along because it suited me. So there's lots and lots of different things you can do to make yourself get on in the construction industry if you'd like to consider it as a career option. Thank you for listening, and we're going to go over to some questions now.
Thank you for that, Anne. Really informative and really comprehensive. I think you've covered a lot of the questions that we had in, but we still have some there, and just some brilliant tips here. I think the point that you made about transferable skills is really important. I think a lot of young people obviously have part-time jobs, weekend jobs and things, and they maybe don't realise that the things that they're doing in those jobs can suit them in future. I mean, I know my own child works in a soft play, and she'll often sort of say, "Oh, it's just a soft play," and I'm thinking, you're got customer service, you're doing catering, you're planning, you're using a till. All these things are definitely very transferable skills. So,
Definitely.
a few questions for yourself. What was it that made you decide to leave the hospitality and retail environment to retrain?
So it's actually something, construction is something I always wanted to do. When I was younger, I wanted to do that. Unfortunately, when I left school, I didn't have those opportunities. In the area that I was in, there wasn't really much opportunities. Back when I left school as well, there was a lot less opportunities for women in these fields. I was in a very remote area in the north of Scotland, so the opportunities were few and far between at the best of times. But certainly for women to enter those industries, it was a lot more challenging at that time. So for me, I'd worked in hospitality and retail. I'd got into a sort of what I call the hamster wheel of life. Just getting on and doing things. And then suddenly I realized I don't want to do this all the time for the rest of my life. I've still got quite a long way to go before retirement, and I don't want to do this. I want to go and have a look and see if I can make a career in construction work. So that's what I did. I went back and retrained, taking all my transferable skills with me, but learned about the construction industry and moved over.
Yeah, and again, another really good point, that you don't have to know at 16, although you had an idea of what you wanted to do, but not everybody will have, and you don't need to go straight into, what is going to be your lifelong career. There's opportunities as time goes on. Like you, I retrained a lot older than you did. But yeah, you don't have to know at school what it is that you're going to do. A good question that I think you've helped me understand through speaking to you over time, but came in from one of our learners. What does the built environment actually mean? What does it encompass?
So the built environment is essentially anything that we make to live, to work, to play. So we all have homes where we want to stay. We all have comfortable homes, but we also have buildings that we use for leisure. So we have leisure centres, we have visitor centres that we do that enrich our communities. We also have things like schools and functional buildings like hospitals that we need, community centres, churches, all these types of things. And all of that, including all the infrastructure that goes in, so things like our roads and all the things that we need as a society to have our communities, all of that is the built environment. Everything within it, play parks, anything you can imagine that's part of your community, your schools, your hospitals, your community centres, your churches, your homes, all of that is the built environment.
Fantastic. And you've already given us a lot of tips and things about getting into the environment. Do you have any advice for getting placements and things, or for getting to know more about companies in your area? Is it worthwhile approaching local companies for experience?
Absolutely. So a lot of companies, what they will do is they will have times, especially for things like apprenticeships, they will have certain times of the year where they open their doors, so to speak, for taking applications. So it's worthwhile trying to figure out when those times are. A lot of them work around the school years as well. They kind of understand when people are leaving school and when people will be looking for employment. So really try, and if you're thinking about careers in construction, reach out to those companies ahead of time, maybe your final year, and ask them when is their timetable for taking in. Some companies will take applications all year round, some of the larger companies especially, but some of them do have set timetables. So it's a really good idea to try and understand that, do a little bit of research the types of companies that you want to work in as well, because they're very, very different. It's very different to working in a big company to a small company. And again, different personalities will prefer different things. Lots of these companies have work placement opportunities. They maybe offer a week work placement. So that's a really good way of getting in for a small amount of time, but it gives you a flavour, gives you an idea. So if you can get those sort of week work placements, they're really good opportunities to learn. But also lots of institutes, sometimes schools, sometimes institutes like the Chartered Institute of Building, which I'm involved with. when you go to college as well, there'll be certain opportunities to get involved in maybe an activity or a challenge where they offer work placement as a prize as well. So those are great opportunities to get your network up. I mentioned network, and how you can really try in the construction industry. Knowing people is a good way to sort of get in and understand when businesses are going to be hiring, what type of opportunities they have, whether it's weekly placements or whether they have longer term placements for people starting out, or whether they're looking to take on apprenticeships as well. So just a little bit of research is probably the best thing to do when you're starting out.
You mentioned that when you started, you were quite remote and there wasn't really opportunities. Is there more opportunities across Scotland now and further afield? Is it, quite open, and is there a lot of career opportunities in the environment?
Absolutely. The construction industry, the built environment as a whole, and the built environment, I should say, when we're talking about the construction, built environment also incorporates things like architects, designers, engineers, hundreds and hundreds of different job roles. It's not just construction managers and people out on site. That's part of our process, but there are literally hundreds and thousands of different job roles that work in the built environment, from construction related trades, but also, as I mentioned, support roles, accountants, lawyers. We have every kind of job role that you can think about. We even need people to cater for us and do our hospitality as well. So we have all those different functions working to service the built environment. In that, there are lots and lots of different opportunities. The construction industry has what is called a skills gap at the minute, and this has been going on for a number of years, but basically it means that we don't have enough people to do the work that we already need to do. That skills gap is getting bigger, which means that there are much more opportunities for people to come and join us. We need lots and lots of different skills. We need lots and lots of people with new skills as well. We need lots and lots of digital skills coming into the construction industry, which we don't have a great deal of. And the more and more we are using technologies, as I mentioned, like AR, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all these computer gaming technologies, we need people with those skills in the construction industry. We don't have a great deal of that at the moment. It's very new. A lot of people are doing old skills, so we have wet trades as well. Those skills are, as people are retiring, we're losing people with those skills. So we want people to learn old skills as much as we want to bring in people that have really good knowledge of digital and technical skills as well. So there's literally loads of opportunities across Scotland, across the UK. We are obviously operating in Scotland, but when you work in the construction industry, your skills can become very valuable and transferable across the globe as well. So people can start off a career in construction in Scotland and end up in Australia, end up in Dubai, Toronto. The world is literally your oyster. So opportunities are there and there's plentiful.
So yeah, definitely sounds like if it's something you're interested in, you won't struggle to get a job in the industry. You showed us some of the projects that you worked on, and I didn't realise quite, how varied your role was. So, it sounds really interesting. One of the questions that come in is, have you had a favourite project that you worked on?
For me, I would probably say the first project I worked on, the Visitor Centre with Historic Environment Scotland, it was a really big learning curve for me because everything was new. I had so much to learn. It was also it was a mixed project. So part of the building that you've seen in the picture, the middle part was an old engine shed, which took the old engines, the train engines. So what we did is we refurbished that completely and restored it all back to its former glory, taking all the old stone and the old metal work and restoring it, all the old glass, and making it fit for purpose, making it fit with the regulations that we have now. But what we also did is we added 2 annexes on the side of it, which was the black triangle shaped buildings, and they were new constructions. So we had the old and the new, and a really good mix. We were using some really new technologies there. We were using some great fibre boards and things that had come over from Germany, and clay plasters and things that are not an everyday type of occurrence that we use in everyday construction for our houses. This was really specialist stuff. We used what is called glue lamb frames and zinc as well. So we used lots and lots of different materials that I haven't even come across again since you know, the other jobs I've done. So for me, it was really interesting, and it was just really special to me as well because it was my first project as well.
Must be very rewarding as well to be able to sort of drive past or, you know, walk past something that you've been very involved with. That must be very nice.
It's something very prevalent in the construction industry. Everyone in the industry, when you have been part of something, it's like, I built that, I built that, I did that. Anywhere
Yes,
you go.
I work with a tradesman. Um, just a couple of questions. You mentioned in your biography that when you were younger, you didn't enjoy maths particularly, and obviously you mentioned in your presentation there that you work with maths a lot, you make graphs and things. What helped you overcome your sort of anxiety and your dislike of maths? Any tips for young people?
Yeah, so for me, it was very much being proactive and challenging it. A lot of it was actually becoming a STEM ambassador as well, and trying to explain my job to an 8-year-old. And, you know, I was asked to do that, and I said, I can't do that in terms of maths. And then I realised from having spoken to people that actually all of my job is maths, which was a revelation to me because I had realised that some of it was maths, but I didn't realise just how much maths I was doing. So that helped me to build up my confidence. But what the main things for me is to think about the maths that you already do every day, because even if you don't think about it, you are doing maths every day. Even if it's thinking about, I need to be in my next class at a certain time, you're thinking about timetabling, you're thinking about time. These are all maths-based principles. If you're looking at timetables, maybe to get the bus to school or to get the train or something, again, looking at these timetables is maths-based thinking. So all the time you're thinking about maths. And you can actually understand what experience you do have. You're doing it every day. You might be going shopping, watching sports. If you're thinking about watching the football, you're thinking about the scores. What score do we need to win overall the tournament? All those sorts of things, all those little calculations that you do every day, then you're thinking is maths-based thinking. So think about what you do already do and what you do already know. And then what you don't know, start asking questions, be proactive, challenge it. And look for the right support. Ask for support if you're not sure. There's lots and lots of support in schools, in colleges. I had some great support in the colleges and universities that I went to. And also, you know, there's outside functions as well, like national numeracy, that can help you with resources that can help you upskill. And talking about digital skills, go on YouTube. There's hundreds of videos, you know, and think you don't need to do all of the maths, but think about what you do want to do. Think about the job roles that you might want to do. Speak to people in those roles. See what types of maths they are doing and what's important. You'll probably find that a lot of what you're doing in school is relevant to a lot of job roles in the construction industry. But that doesn't mean it's the same. It's just the skills that you're using in school, we're using them in a different way in construction, but also there's lots and lots of support, and you also work in teams in construction as well, so you can ask for support. You know, lots and lots of people will check things as well, so you're not on your own. And just talk about it, really, you know, get support and find resources that will help you learn in a way that suits you. Those are the things that help me.
Brilliant advice. And I think quite a good sort of concept that you're saying, that I think we think of maths, the subject, and just think, oh, you know, I maybe don't feel that great about maths, but not think about the maths and numeracy that we do every day and realize that you're doing it. And I really like your sort of sporting one. I mean, the people that I know that can say, well, if this team goes up 1 point and this one goes down, we'll be here in the league. I'm thinking, yeah, you're totally using numeracy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
really good example. So one final question. Obviously, you have been studying over the last few years. What next? Is there any future plans for more studies or other big projects that you've got going on out with your construction?
So no for studying at the moment. It is something that I might like to return to in the future. But at the moment, what I'm doing is I am spending my energy working with community groups through being a STEM ambassador, being a girl guiding leader. And for 2023, I am working with a project. I'm working with two big projects, actually, one of which is helping to co-create a course which will help teachers or teach teachers how to think about teaching maths and science together, think about combining them, and also by making industry connections to how we teach maths and science at school and how that relates to the industries that people might want to work in. And I'm also helping with a project with the V&A Museum in Dundee. I'm on an advisory panel with them, and they're co-creating a STEM challenge, or a design challenge, that will allow challengers to, or the winning challengers, to exhibit their designs in the V&A at some point in the future. So lots and lots of different projects within communities, within STEM related to construction, and also doing a lot of work around helping people to overcome maths anxiety. So that is the immediate future for me. So not studying, but giving back in a different way.
We knew you wouldn't just be having a quiet life. Thank you. Thank you for that. And what we'll do is, if the video will be on our website, if anybody wants to know more about the projects Anne's working on, you can email us and we can get in touch with Anne and give you more information about those, about anything that we've talked about today. So thank you very much for that, Anne.
You're welcome. Thank you.